Case study of Wal-Mart. Wal-Mart is the most famous American success story. In just 60 years, it has grown from a small store in northwest Arkansas to the world's biggest retailer. From its first location, it has grown to have more than 10,500 around the world and makes $573 billion every year. Wal-Mart, like other retailers, still has to deal with problems like supply chain problems and rising fuel prices. However, its business model has helped it make money even during the economic downturns in the past. In fact, it has given more money back to shareholders for 49 years in a row. How did Wal-Mart become so successful and have such sky-high sales numbers? Well, watch the video to find out. Welcome to Money Magnets. In today's video, we will tell you what makes Wal-Mart different from its competitors and how Wal-Mart became the world's largest retailer. So let's get started. This is a story that takes place in the United States in the late 1940s, right after the conclusion of World War II. Like every other time after a war, the economy was bad, and like many other people, the Walton family was struggling to stay alive. And because his family wasn't rich, Sam Walton had to work several jobs to pay for school and college all through his teens and early 20s. Sam Walton sold newspapers, worked in stores, and was even a waiter at one point. Because of what he did for a living, he had to talk to a lot of different kinds of people. Sam Walton was able to learn how a number of businesses in the market work through these conversations. Even though it wasn't part of his job, when he worked at a retail store, he would go the extra mile and study the rest of the competition. But the fact that he was willing to go above and beyond helped him understand the retail market. And when Sam Walton felt confident enough, he saved some money, borrowed some from his father-in-law, and bought a Ben Franklin franchise. And this is where his career in retail started. Just like any other franchise model, Ben Franklin was allowed to use the brand name, but he had to follow a lot of rules. He had to buy 80% of the products from Ben Franklin in order to get a rebate. He had to spend a certain amount of money on advertising and hire a certain number of people. All of this only made him 6 to 7% profit, and he only made $72,000. But his competitor was right in front of him, and that person was making $150,000 a year. This got a fire going in his stomach, so the next day Sam Walton started going to every store in town and spending hours at his competitors' stores. In fact, a few store owners used to feel uneasy around Walton because he acted like he was trying to break down their businesses and steal their secrets or something like that. Sam Walton studied his competitors and the retail market for a long time. From this, he learned 3 very important things that helped him become the richest person in the United States. Sam Walton's first lesson was about the importance of something that is known as discounting. Discounting is a strategy that involves selling products at a lower margin in order to increase the total number of units sold. For instance, if 100 t-shirts are sold at a price of $3 each and a profit of $1 is made on each item, then the overall profit is approximately $100. However, if the same t-shirt is sold for $2.50, even though the profit is only 50 cents, then the situation is different. The number of t-shirts sold in a single day used to reach up to 200. Even though this might sound like the same $100 profit, it actually had some incredible benefits that very few people realized. The discounting led to an increase in the volume of sales, which meant that people brought products into the store, which in turn led to an increase in footfall, which means an increase in the number of customers. Second, there was a flurry of activity regarding the stock. If you're a retailer who is successful at quickly selling the t-shirts you currently have in stock, you may be able to quickly obtain new t-shirt designs in stock, which may in turn attract additional customers. If you moved your inventory more than quickly as a retailer, you could have more leverage when negotiating prices with your suppliers. For instance, if the other players buy a total of 10,000 units, you could buy 20,000 units due to the accelerated sales volume that you're achieving. In addition, by making this larger purchase, you have the ability to request a discount from the vendor of an additional 10%, which could give you an additional 10% profit even with the best prices. Now, for a smaller store, that amounts to only a 10% increase in margin. In addition, customers will receive a discount. However, when Wal-Mart scaled up their businesses using the same principle, they became so powerful that they began to dominate the sellers. For example, if a wholesaler sells 20,000 units to a small retailer for $5 and makes a $2 profit, Walmart will order 2 million units and ask the seller to sell them for $3.50. Additionally, the fact that it is such a large purchase order provides the vendor with a greater opportunity for profit. They generally hold the same views. Now, when the normal retailer price is $5 purchase, at $7, Walmart puts a price tag of only $4.90, which is significantly lower than the normal price. What does that mean? The fact that Walmart's selling price is lower than the cost price of the retailer renders it nearly impossible for the retailer to compete with Walmart. And as a result, Walmart is able to walk away with a wholesome profit of $1.40 per unit and generate millions of dollars in profit despite the absence of competition. This is the power that comes from offering discounts. Because of the restrictions imposed by the franchise, Sam Walton could initially only apply discounts to 20% of the available goods. But later on, when he opened his first Walmart store, this aggressive pricing strategy of discounting was a game changer that accelerated the growth of Walmart and made them millions of dollars in profit. Later on, when he opened his first Walmart store, this aggressive pricing strategy of discounting was a game changer that accelerated the growth of Walmart. The ability to offer lower prices than competitors was a primary factor in Samuel Walton's meteoric rise to the top of the business world. Now, we all know that Sam Walton was not the only person who understood the power of discounting, right? There were also other, more significant competitors in the market. In fact, they had more money than Sam Walton did. Then why did Sam Walton succeed more than the others? Because Sam Walton was so determined. He went to each and every retail store in the United States that he could find and started taking notes on what he liked about the businesses and what he didn't like about them. He used this information to build his business. And while he was going through this process, he noticed that every successful retailer, whether they are aware of it or not, had something that brought in more customers to their store. For example, a lot of children were drawn to ice cream and candy machine that was owned by some people. Therefore, when the parents wanted to shop, they specifically chose to go to the store that had the ice cream machine so that they could shop without being bothered by the children. This allowed the parents to shop in peace, while some businesses used a strategy known as the lost leader principle, in which they sold essential items like toothpaste at an extremely low margin price in order to entice customers to come into their stores. Others utilized this strategy. For example, if the price of toothpaste by itself was $1, some stores used to sell it for 50 cents. The sellers can reap two benefits from utilizing this strategy. Customers, seeing the low price of the toothpaste, automatically assume that the store had the best prices for all the products because it was the only place they could find it. Since they were already there, they would purchase other high-margin products like clothing or DVDs, such as movies or television shows, since they were already there. Now, the vendor could have made a loss of 50 cents on the paste, but he typically made $10 to $20 on the rest of the bill. As a result, Sam Walton paid close attention to each of these aspects and endeavored to incorporate as many of them as possible into his store. Some ideas worked, some ideas did not. But one thing was certain, even if there was a retail idea that was being discussed in the market, it was impossible that Sam Walton did not already know about it. This was the one thing that was certain. In point of fact, he even got appointments with the head of other discount chains and introduced himself to them as a small retailer by the street in order to get advice from them on how to conduct business. He asked more questions than he was supposed to, and they answered more questions than they were supposed to. Sam Walton's knowledge of the industry grew with each new conversation he had, and he always emerged from them having gained new insights. And guys, you know what? Walmart has always been able to find the products that are best sellers, the cheapest products, and the best technology because of their impeccable market research, which has kept them at the forefront of retail revolution throughout its entire history. And most importantly, every time they opened a store, they knew exactly what products would work, what products wouldn't work, and what competitors' strengths and weaknesses were. Well, that's it for today, guys. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to get the latest updates about the fresh and interesting content we keep on posting.